Here's what you need to be doing right now to shoot big deer come fall. Nutrients, digestible nutrients. And by digestible, I mean putting vitamins and minerals in their body or a protein sourced supplemental feed that they can actually break down and get all of the bang for your buck out of that. Make sure that your feed that you're feeding is a good feed, and that they can process it properly to pull out the nutrients. Just because it has high protein or high calcium or high phosphorus or high magnesium or whatever it is in it, make sure that it's in a form that is made for the deer or a goat, being the closest relative of a feed that you can buy at the feed store. But the nutrients and vitamins, touch up your mineral sites, pump the feed that's a good feed. Like I said, digestible feed. They got to be able to digest it, or they're just pooping out exactly what you just put in the feeder, and they're not getting anything from it. Bucks during max antler growth season, which is the really exciting time for us to run trail cameras. You're talking deer are going from putting a 1/4 inch on a day or a 1/2 inch on a day, depending on your food source or your feeding program. You're talking max antler growth June and July. You're talking they can put on anywhere from 3/4 to upwards to 1.5 inches. Normally we like to say about an inch. And a lot of people aren't going to see that because a lot of people aren't feeding the proper stuff to their deer or having the proper natural vegetation for your deer. Year to year, there's droughts, there's rains, there's floods, there's everything that affect the nutrients that's out there naturally for them, or maybe planted crop rotations change. If you're like around where we're at here in Kansas, they usually run a wheat, corn, beans crop rotation. So on your wheat years, yeah, you're going to have great winter. If it's winter wheat, you're going to have great winter feed, and you're going to have early spring feed, and then summertime when they really, really need that during the max antler growth, it's not going to be there for them. So you need to pump the supplemental feeds. So calcium, phosphorus, and I believe magnesium maybe is the top three minerals. But trace minerals, guys, is all you really need. They're going to get most of their nutrients from other sources, but the protein, pump the protein to them, and a good calcium, phosphorus in a supplemental mineral site is going to help you tremendously. If you want your buck to reach their full potential, you're going to have to pump something to them. The deer that do not get those added nutrients, it's their antlers are going to grow regardless, and the strain during the max antler growth, if they don't have those added, it's going to rob from their body. So it's going to pull calcium away from where it should be going for bone maintenance in their body, and you're going to end up with a littler bodied buck, and your rack is not going to reach its full potential. There was a study done, I believe, by the University of Missouri years ago, where they fed 8% protein compared to a 16% protein diet, and they came up with like a 20-inch difference in the rack size. And I don't know how many years that was done, and if it was in a wild or a pen raised, how the setting was. But right there tells you that, okay, there's proof that this is what I got to do, or not having that right stuff is going to affect me. And a 20-inch difference is a huge difference. You're talking the difference between a Boone and Crockett buck or a buck that you probably should be letting a child shoot. Another thing for reaching full potential that has nothing to do with feed is you guys and girls passing bucks that don't need shot. When you're shooting bucks that are 3 years or younger, what you're doing is you're decreasing the amount of bucks in your herd that have the potential to put you into a trophy class. And not just the antlers, guys. You also have to worry about your complete herd health. You have lactation period coming up, or already started, depending on where you're at. We're getting ready to drop fawns right now, meaning that the does are getting ready to have their fawns, and they need good lactation to get that fawn to grow healthy bones, and stay healthy enough to run from predators. If You want an overall good herd health. Increase your mineral sites. Put plenty of stuff out there for them. Decrease their stress. And decrease their stress can mean staying out of there. It can mean planting stuff around your edges of your property to keep the stress of people onlookers or people driving by, whatever it may be in your given situation. But the fresh water, good mineral source, proper nutrition, um, and genetics is what you really need. But we can't really change that factor. So you guys can help with that factor by culling bucks that need to come out of the herd. And remember, the buck that you raise from a fawn is not going to be the buck that you have on your property. He's going to be your neighbor's buck. But if you guys don't get together and correlate, you're never going to reach good genetics in your area. So it takes a group effort normally, unless you have a big ranch and you can control it all yourself. So that's about all I got for max antler growth season, other than get ready, get your cameras out, and